Hello everyone, Tina here. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we're doing a Happy Day series, which is all about using items that we have in our stash or items that we have on hand. And so I'm going to be using this stamp set from Pink and Maine. It's called Scentsational. Cute little skunks in here, and so I thought we'd make a fun little thank you card. We're going to start off by doing our stamping. We're going to bring in my mini Misty and a piece of Nina 80-pound cardstock. We're going to grab our images. I'm going to use the little skunk that has the little flower, the little log, and then the itty bitty snail. We'll stamp those with Memento Tuxedo black ink. Both the paper and the ink are alcohol marker friendly, and we're going to color these in with Copic markers today. Now we'll just remove these, zoom in the camera, and then we're going to go ahead and color. I left the caps out for you guys, and I listed the colors that I used over in the left hand corner for you. But I know skunks are black and white, but today I decided to do darker shades of gray, just so you could see how cute the little skunk is. But I'm going to play a little bit of music while I finish coloring for you guys, and when I'm done coloring, I will catch you back. Okay, coloring is all done. Now I'm taking my Uniball white gel pen and I'm adding a little bit of highlights to my little flower and also to my little snail. I think when you do this on some bright colors, it just makes it even more brighter. After we have the highlights added, we're going to take scissors and fussy cut each one of our little images out. And we'll set these aside. Now we're going to stamp our sentiment. Since it is a thank you card today, we're going to use a sentiment that says, "So stinking kind of you," which is so cute. I'm going to stamp my sentiment on some black cardstock. We're going to use an anti-static powder tool because we are going to use some white embossing powder to heat set our sentiment. So we'll stamp our image with Versamark ink. We'll go over it with some white embossing powder. And then I'm going to use my heat gun and we'll just go ahead and melt that. Now once our sentiment is melted, it's nice and vivid against the black, and I like that, we are going to take a sentiment die set here and we're going to die cut out our sentiment. These are so nice because they just die cut out a perfect sentiment size versus using your paper trimmer. But after we have our sentiment stamped, we're going to kind of rub off the powder on our sentiment there, and then we're going to work on a background. Now I have some double stitch circle dies, and I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock and we're going to layer 4 of these together. When I layer 4 together, it's going to create 3 outlines of circles, 3 in a row. So we'll just tape these down and then run these through the die cutting machine. So we're not going to use the outside piece or the inside piece, just those 3 circle frames. Okay, I'm also going to take one of my circle dies and cut out a circle panel. This is a little bit larger than the inside of my smallest circle there. And then I'm going to take a stitched rectangle die to cut out a panel that's 4 inches by 5 1/4. Now we're going to do some embossing. I have this embossing folder. I've had it for a long time. This is from a Simon Says Stamp kit from back in 2016. I think it was the October kit. And then I'm going to take an embossing folder that has polka dots on it, and we're going to go ahead and emboss these. This has real pretty flowers on it, so that's going to be my background, and then we have a nice little polka dot circle here. I'm going to actually add a little color using my Distress Oxide ink. This is Tumbled Glass, and just lightly going over my embossed image to highlight a little bit of those circles, just to make them pop a little bit more. Okay. Now we're going to take our flower panel and go ahead and adhere this to a standard size card base. My card base is a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch top folding card base. This is going to, since the panel size is 4 inches by 5 1/4, it's going to leave me a little bit of a border around my card. Okay, now using my little circle frames kind of as a guide, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my embossed circle. We'll just kind of inlay that, and then I think I'm going to lower it just a little bit more because I'm going to actually trim off the excess circle frames, so I just wanted it to be a little bit more balanced when I trim down that side. Okay, I'm happier with this placement. Now I'm going to trim off the excess with those 2 circles that are hanging over. That third circle wasn't hanging over, so I didn't have to trim that. Okay, I thought it would be fun to add a little bit of dimension with these circle frames. The middle frame I'm going to glue directly to my card base, and then the largest circle frame and the smallest, I thought it'd be fun to add a little bit of dimension with some foam tape. So I just cut a thin strip. I'm going to remove the release paper. This makes it easier to go around my circle. And I'm going to add foam tape behind both of these. Next, we're going to adhere our smallest circle, and then we'll go ahead and adhere our largest circle. I think this creates a real neat effect, something a little bit different. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and adhere our elements. We're going to add some foam squares behind them. First we'll add our log and then our sentiment. Now the sentiment's a little bit higher because it is sitting on the circle frames that we added. And then we added our log and our little skunk, and then finally our little purple snail. Super sweet. Okay, we're going to use, I have some almost like a matte white sequin, kind of a cloudy white. I wanted it kind of subtle with a white background. I thought it would kind of go with it. So we're going to add a few here and there. And then last but not least, I'm going to bring in my glossy accents. And then we're going to go over our little flower center, the little hair pretty, and our little skunk's hair. And then the shell of our little snail, and then the little skunk's nose. And then that finishes my project today, guys. I encourage you to use what you have on hand or what's in your stash. If I can find the products I used today, I will link them down below for you guys. But I wish you a lovely day. We will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.